Episode 3 of the Dirty Side Gets Down Nova, and hopefully we drive this thing in this one. I say hopefully because this transmission's a bit questionable. I got it from a guy that ran it in an autocross and never hooked up the TV cable. Being a 700R4, you can burn them up that way. The fluid looked really good in it, so yeah, I'm hoping for the best and optimistic, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's trashed. So if that's the case, I may learn how to rebuild a 700R4, or I'll find a Turbo 400 or something. But we'll see. Let's get it together and see what happens.
Dirty Side Gets Down. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
So man, it feels like just yesterday I was talking to you guys, and I guess for me it was. Yesterday I wrapped up the last video, edited it that night, posted it this morning, and today we're back at it for episode 3. For those of you that are new, we'll recap just a quick little bit. It's a 74 Nova. The plan is to make it a drag and drive car with a sniper, a Holly sniper. I do fuel injection for work, and so this is gonna be a lot of how-to videos and testing and things like that for our company YouTube channel and to help our customers out. So we're kind of doing it 2 different ways on both channels. My channel is more about just vlog style, me building my car, and the company channel is more tech and that kind of thing. But let's see where we left off here. So it was running in this configuration. Ignore that crazy placement of fuel line and filter. I'm waiting for alternator bracket to show up to get the routing of that really figured out. So today we're going to start with changing this intake manifold. Now really, there's nothing wrong with that intake. It works. But I'm trying to build this car in the same way that I tell all of our customers to build their cars. And so we're going to put a Y-end intake on it just to do that. So we'll get this intake ripped off here and I'll bring you back. Alright, so we got the old intake off. And we're going to put this new intake on. I'm going to show you something that I like to do that's pretty simple. And I put the intake gaskets on, just kind of set them there. Lay the intake on here. And then I like to get down here and check the gap on the China wall. Just so I have an idea when it comes time to put RTV there, I can kind of decide how thick I want to make it. So luckily on this one, it's a pretty small gap. So we'll put a pretty small bead. I really don't like to make it squish out and make a mess. I'm pretty stingy with my RTV. So anyway, let's get this thing plopped on there. One other thing you got to do too, put a little thread sealant on all of the inner holes. It's just the outer ones you don't have to do. They all go into the crankcase, kind of the lifter valley. And some people don't do it, some people do. I feel like it's better safe than sorry, so I do it. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I did torque those bolts down. Camera just stopped recording, but they're torqued properly, I promise. So now we got the engine on top dead center, and it's time to drop the distributor in there. So when I drop the distributor in, what I like to do, and pretty much what everybody does, is you point the rotor at cylinder number 1, so then you know where to put your number 1 spark plug wire. Let's drop this thing in there. One thing I like to do too is line that up the best I can with the oil pump drive. Just real long screwdriver and you can get down in there and turn it. And if you don't do that, you'll fight getting this thing in. There we go. Easy as that. So one thing to note that maybe people don't understand is when an engine's at top dead center, it's technically after when the spark plug would fire, because you fire before top dead center. So when you set this up, you want to put the rotor just past one of these terminals, and so then you know that that's your number one because the rotor just passed it. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm sure you've gathered the theme of this project is budget, and so here's another aspect of that. I didn't have this factory linkage for the carburetor, but I did have this rod laying around, so I bent a 90-degree end on it, drilled a hole for a cotter pin, heated this end up where it was glowing red, beat it flat with a hammer, and drilled a hole in it, and now it works like factory. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, sure, I 100% could have bought one of those for $30, $40, maybe $50 after shipping. But, you know, this took me 10 minutes, and now it's done. It didn't spend any money. So, you know, don't let your projects get you down when you start to run out of money or something. Just, you know, poke around at it, think about it, and maybe you can come up with something like that to keep you going rather than being stuck waiting on parts to get here from shipping or waiting to have the money to keep going, things like that. Just, you know, be creative where you spend your money, and that'll get you farther. All right, it is dark and the Dirty Side Gets Down shop, and we are post-hurricane. Milton, I think, was the name, so if you've seen that thing around, we got pretty lucky up here in North Florida. No real issues. You know, we got some water in the yard here, but you know, nothing real major happened. But we don't have any power, so even that's not going to stop us, though. I'm going to get this thing done. I'm going to get as far as I can without power. So today's project is this March Performance, March something alternator pulley kit. It's for serpentine, and I just like the idea of the serpentine better, so we're going to go with it. So we're going to start by, this pulley looks really thick compared to this one, and I want to do that part first and make sure it's going to fit, and then we'll go from there. And watch all your females, that's right, I'm using a chrome adapter on an impact.
So hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband.
Okay, so that looks like our spacing there. We can keep that. Throw that dude on. Alrighty. Hope the rest of this goes that smooth. A little brake clean this hole out since we don't have an air compressor right now. The best I got. Quick little pro tip: if you have garbage T handles that spin on the drive, just put the same size wrench on there and you can tighten it. See, and y'all were wondering why I left all that loose. I didn't know where the alternator was going to go. There's a problem. Spacer's just a little bit too long. We may have to cut that dude down a little bit. But let's get everything else bolted up and see how it lines up. Well, it turns out we are stuck on this. If you look here at the two mounting ears, they're offset to the one side there. Just look at the instructions. They need to be directly across from each other, so that doesn't let our tensioner mount up. So now that we found that, probably going to have to order an alternator, and then we're going to be another couple days, and unless I can scrounge around here and find something, but I don't think I have one. But I guess we'll move on to something else. Let's see. Well, the right alternator is supposed to be here today. So while we're waiting for that, I guess it's time to install this TCI shifter. Got this thing from Summit for about half the price of all the other shifters out there, and it seems really solid. I like it a lot for just kind of shifting it by hand. So we're gonna go ahead and toss it in here real quick and see how we like it. So I think we're just gonna plop this dude right down in the middle of the transmission tunnel. We've got good access to it here. Feels nice and comfortable. So we're gonna go with that. This thing feels really solid though. I definitely like it. It's starting line, hold trans brake. Whew, we moving. This thing feels super solid though. Alright, so we got our alternator. That's all hooked up, working well. We got a temporarily set up transmission cooler. Basically just to loop the lines back together for right now. I got to get the radiator in to figure out exactly mounting and transmission cooler and all that. But we're ready to test out this transmission. So it's the moment of truth. We'll see what the deal is with this transmission, and hopefully it's still good. But if it's not, we'll jump that hurdle. See. Let's try reverse. All right, we're going backwards. Neutral. All right, we're moving forward. Now let's see if it'll shift. I don't think we're shifting out of first gear, so we'll have to dig into that for a little bit. But since we've kind of hit that weird roadblock, I think I'm going to end this one here, and we'll pick up with the next one with hopefully just solving it, with a simple fix, throwing the radiator in, and getting this thing on the dyno. Or maybe we'll do dyno and track in the same video and not really do any work on the car. Let me know in the comments how you'd want to see that work out. Either way, thanks for watching, and hopefully you subscribe, and we'll see you next time.